Hello, it's Ashy. Today I have Law.
Hello.
I also have Dez.
Hola.
Okay, so we're looking at these pictures. Why is there just a finch in this? Why is there a tiny little finch?
I'll explain that soon. So,
I Worms can ride the finch.
I will explain that soon. It's a stand-in because I needed a bird pog, and it was a good bird pog. Okay?
Okay.
So, today we are going to be tearing up some animal companions. We are going to do the Ranger and Cavalier limited list today. Because any excuse to shorten the actual animal list.
Yeah, I don't want to be here for the next 4 hours.
Alright. So, we have at the top of the Rangers and Cavalier limited list here the natural armor, the average, the range, and then the advanced average and range. Strength, dex, and con. Visible to everyone right there. So, these are some numbers to keep in mind. And these numbers will get added into the listing of all the animals because, anything here, druids can also take, or hunters can also take.
Okay, but looking at this list, I don't recommend any of them. I don't recommend a hunter or a druid take any of these.
Yeah. So let's get
Except
started.
maybe the Axebeak.
The axe
I don't know. There's a couple wolves there. They can serve their purpose, but yeah, definitely better choices.
Alright, so starting up at the top of the antelope, we've got a small creature. It's kind of fast at 60 feet. It's got below average natural armor. It's got a very unexciting gore attack that its only attack. It's very clearly going to be a dex-based animal companion because its advances are still all +2, +2, +2. So you get up to 12 strength, 19 dex, and 16 con with advances, which is reasonably tanky, I guess. So what do you think?
I am sure. I'm sure. Okay, so one, I think it's kind of garbage.
Yeah.
But you could, at least, once it's at 3 intelligence, do some dex-based nonsense.
It is using
Like,
a primarily piercing primary attack.
There's ways around that
Swashbuckler
shit.
antelope.
The buckalope.
Buckalope.
The buckalope.
Parries with the horn counterattacks.
Yeah, you've got to do some fucking nonsense with dex-based feats to make it good. Like, the stuff we use tends to just be good out of the gate.
Yeah.
Just stat sticks, and they perform.
Yeah.
This is not going to perform.
Yeah, its most outstanding stat is its speed. I mean, it does have good dex, but what are you? What? It's not really doing a whole lot. I think this is probably a D tier creature, and it's very weird that it's very weird that it's available to both Cavaliers and Rangers, considering your player character is expected to be small or medium sized. Which
There is the feats and stuff that allow you to do it, but
yes.
yeah, that is kind of an oof that you need to take a feat to even make it work.
To make it mountable for a Cavalier, a small Cavalier.
I just hope that we don't end up doing this list and literally everything is going to live in C tier or below.
I don't think so. I think there are a couple A tiers. I don't know if there's any S tiers here, but I think there's a couple that could go into A tier.
I don't think so.
Slap horseshoes of speed on this baby. This thing can fit so much scoom.
So the axe beak, we're looking at a medium base, reasonably fast. It ties with the horse, which if the horse is the gold standard, awesome. It's got one attack, but it's not a bad attack, and you can improve natural attack to make it actually kind of spooky.
Yeah, it's got the dragon bite.
Yeah. It eventually gets the average natural armor of 2. So that's okay. It starts a little bit on the weak side with only 10 strength, and it's weirdly dexterous at 17. It's a little squishy. at con 12. Though that does become the average, or around the average constitution when it goes up, and it does hit the higher tiers or close to it of the strength. Like,
Lol.
so you get up to a base of 18 strength and a base of 16 constitution. Your dex goes to the average of 15. It has a sudden charge ability, which is a cute thing that it gets. Like, it is one of those that gets a cute little ability. Sudden charge gives it a free trip attempt whenever it actually lands a charge. Which,
I could
being a
see
Cavalier mount,
that.
is charging a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I could see that being a little goofy with a Cavalier if you just order the attack where you stab it with your lance, then it makes the bite, and then it trips the thing.
I
Or
think,
reverse that, you
yeah,
trip it and then stab it with the lance for the free +4.
like,
Well, there's also the trip abilities that it could take that allows you to take AOs when you successfully trip something. So there are
yeah,
things you can do with this guy where it charges, it trips, you stab them, it triggers its ability. You stab them again. If you go down the elephant stomp route, it'll peck again. So based on this sudden charge, you can charge them and just deliver a hilarious fusillade of just attacks that they're probably not going to get up from after.
it's like,
Like there
Charge
is a
the
nuke. There
enemy,
is a
flurry of
nuke.
blows.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I don't think this sits in S tier, but I think it could make it into A tier.
I think it's A tier.
Yeah.
Like we've just started discussing jank things and funny things you can do with it, which already puts it up at most things. It's not got shit stats. It gets its 18 strength. It still has 15 dex. It gets its 16 con. It's got a special. It's an A tier. If it didn't have sudden charge, it'd probably be a B tier.
I can see that. It is
Now
more
we're
than
on
just
the.
stats.
It's a fucking baboon. It's a
That is a
fucking
Embrace.
fucking
baboon.
baboon. Yes.
Embrace monkey.
Yeah, rangers can take baboons.
When you teach your monkey to use a bow. That way you can both sit in a tree and bow enemies.
Baboon does benefit from having a very human shape and has hands, even though they're always
Stays
depicted
small,
on all
though.
fours.
Stays small though.
It stays small, and that's kind of sad. Its attack, it has one bite. Because it only has one bite, it does get that benefit of having 1.5 times strength, but off of its strength score, that's not huge. It manages to basically tie up its strength with its dex and con as far as just the numbers will work. It is a 4th level advancement creature again. Eh.
It doesn't get a size increase. It gets. Man,
Yeah.
this is like the. This is standard array, the animal companion.
It's very diet ape. And I think D for diet here. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can probably make this thing do some weird shit just because of its slottage, but
Teach it to use firearms.
I mean, here's the thing: do we actually put it in C tier because it has opposable thumbs? Is that a fucking metric?
I would put it in F tier if it wasn't for the fact that it's in opposable thumbs. The fact that it can do something, I think, saves it from being F tier.
I'm now just picturing this thing crawling through the trees with a fucking Rambo knife and a fucking musket just sneaking up on the opponent.
It's just
Oh
an
my
Ixalan
gosh.
Magic the Gathering card, one of the monkey goblins.
Exactly.
Okay.
Maybe we can make the baboon C tier if you actually generated a pirate monkey. If it was actually legitimately a pirate with a gun and a knife, it might be C tier.
Maybe.
Ranger from Skulls and Shackles, but using pirate monkey instead of bird.
That's
I
kind of
mean,
funny.
that'd work. That'd work because it's probably a more valuable crew member than a level 1 NPC.
So, are you guys thinking bounce it up to C tier from D tier?
No.
No. No,
Fuck
but we
no.
can find uses.
Alright, the Badger. So, Badger, it has a 30-foot speed, so it's not slower than you. But it has Burrow and Climb, which I think means it can do some really funny things with Spring Attack. Additionally, it has the average natural armor, so that's nice. It has 3 attack, being a Bite and 2 Claws. It does get bigger, so its Bite and Claws get better. It's probably not worth putting improved natural attack on because you're not going to break that D8 to 2D6. You're only going to get up to a D8. Its ability scores, like, it starts off a little weak, which I think is a little bit misleading. The dexterity starts off pretty solid at 17 over 15. Constitution, it has average base constitution. And it has Rage as a barbarian, 6 rounds per day. Rage
I
giving it a
want to ask
+4
you-
to strength. What?
I want to ask a question. Why the fuck does the badger get bigger than the baboon?
I don't fucking know. I didn't write the rules, man.
Why does this badger become as big as a fucking person? What the hell?
I don't know why this badger becomes so big. I'm
Absolutely
accepting
it
it.
also has rage. I'm imagining the designer at Paizo got accosted by an incredibly violent badger and decided, yeah, that thing was the same size as me. I'm done.
I
Badgers
mean,
having
that
rage
is
and ferocity has been a thing since like 2nd edition.
Yes.
badgers are pretty. Badgers will do some shit. They will fuck you up.
I mean, to
And
be
like,
fair, a lot of animals will fuck you up. Good
yeah,
luck
true.
beating a fucking baboon. Go ahead,
So-
try it. It'll snap
Yeah,
you
that's
in
fair.
fucking half.
You're not wrong. So above average constitution, which makes it tanky. It reaches the average strength, or roughly average strength, whenever it advances at 4th level. So still an early advancement. It has rage. So let's be fair, it's probably going to be raging in most combats, giving itself 4 more constitution and 4 more strength. It may only have 6 rounds, but because it has rage as a barbarian, it likely will qualify for extra rage. So you could give it more rage if that's what you want to do with your feats, which might be
Amplified
worthwhile.
rage! I just need my badger to count as an orc.
Be a hunter.
Be a hunter.
Be a
Literally just
hunter.
Remember what I said about hunting? If you're a hunter, don't take any of these. That still stands.
I don't know. I feel like having innate rage might help it.
I suppose.
Like you're looking at a companion that gets up to, while raging, 18 strength and like 21 constitution before looking at actually the scaling that it'll get from being an animal companion. This is just innate what it has on the docket.
Yeah.
I suppose hunters do have like the boons and stuff that are permanent bonuses as well that enhance other stuff. Okay, maybe B for badger.
You think it's B tier? I think Badger's A tier just because rage, but I can accept B
Mm.
tier.
And
It's a lot of stats that it can
we-
just access.
We can
Okay,
also
because
add in the
Bur-
fact. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, because burrow and climb. Okay, fine, A tier.
It has
I
a
was gonna
nice-
say it should also go A tier because it's got that song from ages ago.
Oh god.
Badger,
It's now F tier.
Badger, mushroom,
F tier.
mushroom.
Stop it! No!
Ah, yes.
Fine.
Bird. No
Bird.
bird, just bird.
Yeah, no, it's not a type of bird, it's a
Finch.
bird, and that's why I pulled out the finch. Because I thought, okay, I can't be confusing because there's also a falcon, there's also a swan, and no one's going to confuse a finch for anything other than a bird. Or so I thought.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine an elven ranger all tarted up, showing up with a fucking swan? And when somebody
Yes.
makes fun of them, the swan just goes nuts. You, as a Canadian, have clearly seen a goose go a bit ham.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, can instead of all of these avian creatures, can I have a goose? It'll probably have the similar stats to the swan, except it also gets that fucking rage.
Swans have rage. What are you talking about? Swans are just white geese.
They kind of are. Alright, so the bird. You start small, you don't get bigger. This 10-foot speed does not fucking matter because you're flying everywhere, so it's kind of fast. It's got the +1 natural armor, so slightly under quote-unquote average, but that hardly matters, I think. Bite, 2 talents, actually kind of respectable numbers for them at both B4s, considering that's a small creature. But you're not getting very rewarded with that, with getting up from 10 to 12 strength. Just
Guys,
baseline.
can we appreciate that the bird, the chirpy hoppy thing, has got less charisma than a badger?
Yeah.
Wow, I think this is going in D for bird.
I don't think the bird's very good. Like, yeah, you can scout with it because it can fly, but like, the stats aren't really helping you in combat.
No, no. This is a. I wonder if there's actually any F tiers in here for as far as we're concerned.
I think there's at least one F tier,
Okay, cool.
and I will be very vocal when we reach it.
Okay, well, now we're at boar. We have hits one of these extremely standard of the big three animal companions a ranger will probably have, being bear, boar, and wolf.
So the boar, we're looking at a speed of 40 feet. It's slightly slower than like a horse. It's still fine. It's faster than you. Plus 6 natural armor, so it's at the top end of what the ranger and cavaliers are expecting to get from their like natural armor bonuses if they're taking this. So it's got decent natural armor, so it's gonna have reasonable AC. The gore being a D6 is kind of nice because it does get bigger and goes up to a D8, which means you can get up to 2D6 with a feat.
Which means great sword boar.
Great sword boar. It's
You know,
strength
I
dex.
think hey, I think I've come to a realization that the gold standard of the baseline improved ability, improved natural attack, is actually 2d6. Much like the greatsword is the baseline big hitting two-handed weapon for players, it appears to be exactly the same for an animal companion.
That's my opinion, at least. Yeah.
This is the only natural attack it has, so it's 1.5 strength, so it's counted
Yep.
as two-handed.
It starts off
And you can
a
get this idiot
little
power attack.
wimpy. Yeah. It does have the baseline strength 4 power attack. Dex is low, but that probably doesn't matter too much. Realistically, you're not getting much AC from Dex, but you have the natural armor bonus. Constitution's kind of high. Like it gets up. It has the average advance at its baseline, so that's good. You know, like the Badger, though it doesn't get as much con as the Badger, considering the Badger also has Rage. It does get a nice +2 to Constitution, so it goes up to 17. So you wind up with like 17 Strength, 10 Dex, 17 Con. It has Ferocity, so below 0 HP, it's still fighting. I want to probably put the boar in B tier actually. It
SP.
might be C tier.
You know, considering there's this whole dichotomy of the standard of boar, bear, wolf, I think it should be bear, badger, wolf. Because the badger's just objectively a better boar.
I think the badger is a better animal companion than the boar.
Yeah.
Like, very easily a better animal companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beefable. I don't. If it
Like-
wasn't for its ferocity, I think it would be a C tier.
Like, yeah. If it didn't have anything else going on, like, I'm actually rating the higher natural armor a little bit more than I'm rating the ferocity. Mostly because that means that it might just not get hit. At least not very frequently. Like, mooks probably won't threaten it.
Yeah, but we're also, once you get to mid to end game, everything that wants to hit you will hit you because they're
Yeah.
hitting for +30s, +40s, +50s, and AC stops fucking mattering.
You're not wrong. You need other defenses at that point. So, the bustard. This is another bird. This is another bird. It's a little faster on the ground, which doesn't matter. It's slower in the air. It's got the +2 natural armor bonus, so it's mildly tankier. It does have a D6 bite and D4 talons, so it does a little more damage than your average bird. But it's not reaching that D8 status because it doesn't get any bigger. And its stats are very middling. 13, 14, 13. And gets up to a point of being very average.
And it's not even a very good flyer.
Yeah. I think this one would go into C or D.
I think you're overestimating that slightly higher AC. I'm definitely in the D tier myself.
Yeah.
I'm D.
C is being generous for it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's slightly better than a bird. But only
I
slightly.
wonder if we're ever going to hit anything that's average and not just above average or shit. C is a very lonely category right now.
I mean,
It is
let's
very
be
lonely.
fair. I think we're being very nice to the D's. Like, I'm pretty sure Bird could have fallen into F tier.
Probably.
Oh yeah, I'm
Realistically.
sure there's going to be people watching this who are going to analyze the numbers and go, "That's not worth using." And it's like, I agree with you, but I really want to save F for especially stinky.
Yeah,
Like you save S for especially good.
I'm
It's
seeing S
not
as this is
here.
the kind of broken tier. This is the overpowered tier. F is this is the broken tier. This is the not only underperforming but terrible.
Stinky.
Terrible. Like
Stinky tier.
Bustard is a little bit more usable than F tier, I think.
But if the DM assigned you a bustard, you would be upset.
Probably. I don't know. I'm not sure if the Bustard is actually better than the Bird. The Bird's at least fast. It might be better because it can actually fight a little bit better. I don't know. Bustard and Bird feel very side grade to each other, so I'm thinking I'm definitely leaning towards D tier.
Just D it.
D.
Let's move on to the camel.
Okay, so I think the Camel's pretty good actually. So we got horse speed. We're starting off at large, so that's nice. It's available to both Cavaliers and Rangers. We got +1 natural armor, so it's a little bit below average. Its bite's really weak, but it does have this cool little sped ability. Note, range touch attack, no DC, influx second for 1d4 rounds. It is.
You know what?
It's well statted at a base 18 strength and like a dexterity of like 16. It's got the highest base strength of anything that we've seen this far or that we'll see in this list. It does not have the highest overall strength. Like it's slightly more versatile in that it is got CC in its spit. Like not heavy CC, but light CC, where it'll just reduce damage incoming and reduce attack rolls and saving throws and skill checks.
It'll reliably hit because it's a touch.
And it's got surprisingly good dex for Camel. Like, it has a base 16 dex. It doesn't get better than 16, but it doesn't really need to, and the innate scaling of an analog companion giving you strength and dexterity will help it keep up.
I mean, once at level 4, it becomes base 20 strength, so it's not bad.
Base 20 strength, and worst case scenario, it can always be used for that, like, keeping something sickened. If you have some way to capitalize on that, or someone in your party does.
Like, the fact that it has a weak bite matters a lot less when you consider it only has one natural attack, technically.
Yeah. I mean,
so
I don't know.
I think it's better than a horse, so I'm going to put it in A tier, but I don't think it's broken.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. It's
what makes it A? Okay.
It's well statted.
I don't think he's A. I don't think he's A tier. I think it's B. But then we're comparing it to the boar, which is a worse badger. So for
and
what?
camel is better horse.
Fine. Okay. I guess we can put it in A.
I mean, when you compare it to the monsters, it's probably a lot less great, but it does something that that the monsters just don't do. It can guarantee second on something.
Okay, fine. I guess.
We can't compare everything to Ankysauruses and
like an Ankysaurus is a better creature overall, yeah. But I'd also say Ankysaurus would definitely be an A tier monster as well.
True. It will just whack someone and they're fucking stunned. Good luck. Fine. And now a capybara.
Capybara.
Which is bigger than a monkey.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Poor baboon.
Yeah. So, it's reasonably fast on land at 30 feet. It's not slower than you. It can swim good at 20 feet. It has a little bit of natural armor. It's got a D6 bite. It doesn't get bigger, so maybe C tier. Like, it's not particularly well statted. That might be D tier as well.
Yeah.
This I'm not.
it's-
I can't justify this as C when everything else that's just like it is in D tier.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's
it's
cute. That's all. That's the best thing it's got going for it. Like, it doesn't have good constitution or strength. Like, it doesn't have above average. It's got the average dexterity. It gets slightly more strength and slightly more con that matches out its dex, and it doesn't have any tricks.
What do you mean it's cute? It's got less charisma than a badger. A badger is twice as cute as this.
Shit, you're right. I should be looking at the charisma stat for determining how cute things are.
Yeah, you fucking should.
And then we
lol.
have small cats, which are also apparently not very cute. This is not your house cat, because this gets up to medium. So I used a lynx here because that seemed like a pretty good analogy. That seemed analogous for it. We have the highest base dexterity on this list at 21. It does decrease to 19 when it gets bigger. It's got strength 12, which isn't inspiring, but it goes up to 16, so it reaches like slightly above average strength. Very slightly. It reaches average constitution. So not particularly tanky, but not unreasonably like squishy either. Very dexterity based, but not low enough strength for it to not matter. It also can sprint, so once per hour it can move 10 times its normal speed when it's charging, so it can go fast as fuck if it wants to. It does have a trip on its bite. Oh, and 2 claws, but the 2 claws have a D2.
Man, it's a cat, but it's a cat without pounce and rake. I think we found our first C tier.
You think it's C tier?
Yeah, because it's better than the D's, but
It's not better than your other contemporary big cats.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that when we look back at this list next time, things will probably get shuffled down and around when comparing it to
Uh,
the real monsters.
Let's be
Or
I'm
the
fair.
not.
real
If we're
companions. But
comparing,
yeah.
if we're comparing the two lists, everything here is going down at least one tier. If
I
we're
Which
don't
just
is
think it's fair to
actively
send all
comparing
these
the
down
two.
to F tier. But
well, here's the thing. This should just be the Ranger Cavalier list because if
okay,
we
that's
start
fair.
actually comparing it to the master list, everything's going to the bottom because there are just so many better stat sticks with better abilities.
Yeah, like a lot
There
of
is
these are
there
just so generic.
yeah, there are the
There are a
equivalents
lot
of
of generic
these
things.
that just have better stats and more abilities. So
I'm
let's
thinking you
let's
might
just
have
let this thing
rose-tinted
be its
glasses
own.
on some of these. But yeah, we'll continue. Let's
What do
continue.
you mean roast tinted glasses are what? I'm not nostalgic for anything here.
The Yankee has its base of 10 strength.
But it also dazes and stuns on hit.
Yes, but it starts off as a dexterity-based creature.
Yeah, but all of the dinosaurs start as dexterity-based
Not
creatures,
true.
and then they get a. Don't you fucking but technically me. Most of them do. Like the ferry.
The theory is an example, yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
reindeer. Horse speed. It has average armor. It's got 1 gore. It doesn't get bigger.
It's a bigger version of the antelope. It
Yeah.
seems.
It literally is.
It
That's
is
This
a
is
what
this
it's
is what the
supposed to.
antelope should have grown up into.
It is, I think, a better antelope. Is being a better antelope enough to break out of D into C? Maybe, but probably not. Like, it's kind of got very average stats again. Like, the
I think the
dexterity goes a
snow.
little above average.
I think snow adaptation can put it into C tier because if you can get it in its niche, it's probably going to start laughing. Where a lot of other things are just going to be bogged down and can't do shit.
You're not wrong. Being able to enjoy its entire speed in snowy terrain is pretty nice.
It's
I think
also
it's
nice that its 4th level advancement is all 3 stats, where some
Yeah.
things have only gotten 2.
Yeah, I think this is C in its
Yeah.
niche. Otherwise, D.
Yeah. I'm willing to
Put
put
it
it
So
on
up
the
to
low
C
D,
second
for its
row
low
of
niche.
C.
C, low C.
Yeah,
Put it on
if
the
I had a
second
C
row of
minus,
C.
you know, to definitely declare this is probably a C minus. Dog is next. So dogs are are reasonably fast. They're between horse speed and human speed. Reasonably, they got the average natural armor. They got a pretty weak bite starting out, but it gets better a little bit. They got 13 strength, so it's kind of the average. 17 dex, slightly above average. Con 15, above average, but those shift to 17, 15, and 17, which leans above average, average, above average. It doesn't really do anything special though.
I'd say just as stat sticking, that's pretty good spread. It's
It's
probably
not
a
a bad
B tier,
spread.
to be honest. I think it's B. Then again, if we're not really running on stat sticks, like anything exceptional has tricks they can do, and this
It's kind of just a stat stick. It's at least a
I think my
good stat
phone.
stick.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem to get anything or do anything that really sets it apart.
Not
So
really, no.
I honestly think it's gonna go in the D tier because it's just the regular stats. It's the
I
pile
don't
of
think
stats and
it should
abilities
go.
we've seen.
I don't think it should go into D tier because it's better statted than everything in D tier. The problem with D tier is that they break out to average. This does get above average in a couple stats.
Then C?
Like I think C is a very fair spot for it to go. Also, I don't think
Yeah.
people would forgive us for putting the good boy in D.
I mean, let's be fair. Cat and Good Boy should both be in S tier because they're cats and good boys. No other reason.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, there is the elk. It gets bigger, so that's nice. It's kind of scoomy at like the same speed as a horse, so it's a pretty serviceable and good mount. It does slightly break out over the average natural armor, like not meaningfully so, but it goes up to like 3 from a 1.
A horse normally gets a bite attack and
It
2
does.
hooves. This
Yes.
gets a gore and 2 hooves, but are the
Yes.
damages about equal?
A horse hooves do more damage. Horse bite does less damage. But the hooves
Okay.
are secondary natural attacks, so
Yes,
they don't
less
get as
likely
much
to
benefit.
connect.
Less likely to connect and
Honest,
less strength damage.
honestly, I think this is again, it's improved horse.
I mean, I would like to think that a horse is probably the baseline average. Also,
Yeah.
reaching up to a D8, you can improve natural attack it. The hooves might actually honestly be a slight detriment here because if they have a hard time connecting, like then again, like all animal companions at like 9th level or 11th level, one of the two, get free multi attack. So
Yes.
they will become more reliable at hitting. They just won't hit nearly as hard. It starts at a base of 12 strength, but it goes up to 20, so it gets good strength. It is one of those animal companions that's a little bit confused about whether it wants to be strength or dex based in the beginning, but that becomes very
Yeah.
clear later. And because it is a 7th level advancement, so it does take a hot minute to get there, so that's awkward. It does start at an average of Constitution or slightly above average Constitution, and reaches 18 Con, so it is relatively thick. It's definitely a better horse. It might make it into A tier just on its stat spread being good enough or better.
That being said, like we had put the reindeer, which was better horse, in C, so I was thinking elk would probably be B because it is still clearly a bit better than quite a bit better
Reindeer
than
wasn't
reindeer.
Reindeer wasn't better horse, it was better antelope.
Oh, true, better antelope.
And antelope we roasted in D tier.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, no,
elk
but
has enough stats to be A tier. Maybe B tier because it doesn't have anything special going for it.
that's I think the special the special the B tier, but probably like higher B tier. You know,
So
it would probably be the equivalent of either a B plus or an A minus kind of thing.
the gore
Like
being
it's
able to
getting
go up to 2d6 though with a single feat is kind of a it's kind of a meaning. I feel like that's a little bit meaningful because not something that a horse is getting away with.
So yeah, maybe the A tier could work just because of the improved natural attack, making it actually bonk pretty hard. Yeah, and with that strength of 20, yeah, okay, you know what?
Yeah, it's like
I could see it.
it's going to hit reasonably hard with even at least one of its attacks. It's going to be reasonably tanky, so it's going to be able to take some abuse. It's going to have some natural armor. It doesn't completely lose out on dex, so it doesn't have just one source of AC. I think it's
Yeah.
A tier.
Yeah, okay, it can fit into A tier, I think, yeah. I
I'd
agree.
be willing for it to be B tier, but yeah. Falcon. It's another bird. It's small, slow on land. It flies faster at 90 feet. Has some natural armor. Has a bite, 2 talons. It has absolutely uninspirational attacks at a D4 and D3.
How
Low
much do we
strength,
care
low
about
con.
fly speed?
I think we care about fly speed if the animal companion can actually perform. If it can do something with it.
Fair.
It gets dex and con, so its strength isn't even getting any higher. At least it's reasonably only using dexterity. And having talons and bites does mean that it could probably do some dex conversion to make those better. And hit with dexterity and damaged with dexterity, but
I kind of want to put it in D for bird.
Yeah.
I'm willing to put it in D for bird because it could be a scouting buddy. It could scout. It can scout slightly better than the average bird. It can fight less good.
Yeah.
We don't have a high opinion of birds in this channel. The
Well,
giant
I
gecko.
mean,
Okay.
Pathfinder First Edition doesn't have a very high opinion of birds, it seems.
They tend to be very weak. I mean, okay, they're probably bounced around the fact that they can fly. But if they can fly, it hardly matters if they can't do anything with that flight.
I
Correct.
So,
am simply reminded of when Amala was summoning them to literally just carry torches and drop them onto the fucking goblin village.
I mean, yeah, you could do something like that with your actual bird companion. But that only takes you so far.
Unfortunately, your summoned birds can take an arrow and it doesn't matter. Your actual animal companion bird could take an arrow and then it's a problem.
True.
Yeah.
Giant gecko.
It's reasonably fast at 30 feet, so it can keep up with your average player. It has expert climb, which gives it basically non-magical spider climb. Non-magical
That's
spider
good.
climb, I think, is valuable.
Yeah.
Its bite starts at D6 but goes up to 2D4, which is as good as a D8, which means you can turn it to 2D6. Its strength starts pretty shitty at 11. Its dex starts average at 15 and goes down. Its constitution starts, I guess, average and goes up to staying average. Its strength becomes average as well. So, like, as a cavalier mount for a small cavalier, it is an enabler of shenanigans.
Yeah, this creature definitely screams play a gnome and do gnome things.
Play a gnome, play a halfling, play a kobold, play a small cavalier, probably play a luring cavalier so you can be a ranged cavalier instead of a melee cavalier, and literally sit on the ceiling throwing your harpoons at things and
And if
cackling all the
anything gets
while.
and if anything gets too close to you, then that 2d6 bite is going to make them wish they hadn't.
Yeah. Granted, that is requiring a feat to get it up to 2d6, but it's worthwhile and it's all strength based.
To be fair, we're also considering in our tiering if improved natural attack bumps it up to a baseline 2d6.
Yeah,
That's part of our metric at this point.
true. So,
Low A.
I'm willing to go with low A. Like,
It's
honestly, like,
not.
it has a gimmick that can make it good. I
Yeah,
think
it's
I
got
would put
something
it in
really
B
nice
tier
for
if it
it.
wasn't for that. Well, actually, no.
Yeah.
It has a
It'd be C
gimmick that
tier if
I
it
was,
wasn't for that.
yeah. No, I'd probably put it in D tier, honestly. It doesn't get good enough without, like, that gimmick. The gimmick's good enough to
My
break into A. Probably B. Low A or
my
high
my
B.
My brain immediately went to making a samurai just because of their mounted archer ability.
You know what? Let's drop it to high A. High B.
because it's
We
only
can't
good
just
for
keep
one
using.
gimmick.
We can't only have A and D.
Yeah,
So B.
it
Sure.
kind
But
of
B for boar.
B for
B
Gecko.
B absolutely makes sense for it because it only has one gimmick, and outside of that gimmick, it's kind of useless. To be honest,
But one
like
gimmick puts it above a lot of things. Having a gimmick is nice.
Yeah, having something.
having a niche that it can perform that nothing else can perform as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just permanent spider climb that's just like, oh, it's a slimy surface. Gecko don't care. Like, this gets around a lot of DM limitations. It's like, oh, you're doing this, this, and this, but the wall is covered in a thick, viscous, moldy ooze that is preventing you from escaping, and the gecko just goes splat, splat, splat up the side with flipping the birds to the DM. There's value in that.
There is value in that.
And I put a lot of value in just saying no to DM bullshit.
Jack is literally just say no to DM bullshit.
He
dice
really does put a
bullshit.
lot of value in that.
I'm
Giraffe.
gonna say I have an entire character that's built around it.
I like giraffe.
I like how it's got its anatomically and naturally correct fucking neck slam.
Yeah, it gets its neck slam. Well, it doesn't start with neck slam, but it gets its neck slam. So, giraffe. You got a speed of 50, so you're as fast as a horse. You're as tanky as your average, but you get more tanky when you hit 7th level and get up from like +2 to +4, which I think is worth something to consider. You start with 2 hooves at a d6, which doesn't sound great because hooves are secondary natural weapons, except they're not in this case, because that natural weapons comes from the giraffe page. That natural weapons gimmick swaps the hoof and slam, whether they're primary and secondary. So the slam is the secondary, which makes sense because you're slamming with your neck, and the hooves are the primary, which means you get 2d8 primary hooves when you hit 7th level, and I think that's worth something.
Especially
that
since
can
you
go to
grab
2d6.
natural attack, they become 2 great swords.
Yeah.
The
giraffe
dual
gets
wielding great swords.
the giraffe gets a dual wield greatsword. It can also hypothetically triple wield a greatsword because it can also do that to its slam.
Jesus.
So I think giraffe is good. You start at a base of 16, which is good to work with. You start at 17 dex, which is decent to work with. It's above average. It becomes average later. You start with basically average con. You go above average con. You go above average strength.
Why giraffes A tier? Why giraffes A tier?
Why are giraffes
Actually-
peeking towards S?
Yeah, they might be low S tier because it's a stat stick with 2 greatswords. Like, you don't even see that on some of the good animal companions.
True.
Giraffes are low S. What?
I'll
No,
accept
I
that.
absolutely.
I was gonna plug it into
I
A
think it's
myself,
low S.
but I could see that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's like, okay, we have Axe Beak. Oh, you can do a greatsword, and it has a trip, and it's got these gimmicks. High A. This thing would just body an Axe Beak.
It's like
Beats it into the
2
ground.
fucking
Yeah.
great swords.
Yeah, it just golf swing it with its fucking neck and send it into orbit. Okay, we've got we've got a first S tier. I didn't think it'd be a giraffe, but here we are.
I didn't
Everything we
think
could have put
anything here would make it to S. I thought our requirements would be too exacting.
My requirements are 2 great swords and some
Understandable.
fucking high teen stats. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
watching the giraffe actually and unironically beat the fighter in damage.
It just needs to be
Oh,
at level 7 to do
just-
that.
Yeah.
It's relatively high to actually become kind of scary. But
Yeah.
Now, here's the question: with the neck of that size, are we able to fit more than one neck slot item on it?
Fuck no.
no, it's actually got several belt slots.
Lol.
Where does the neck begin? At the shoulders or at the base of the skull?
I don't like this line of questioning. Okay, so the horse.
Where does it wear a tie? Down here or up there?
I don't like this line of questioning either. Horse.
Horse. Considering the
Horse.
horse has been the baseline we've been comparing up or down from, horse is by default C tier.
I was gonna say that it probably is better than basically everything in C tier, and might actually be B tier, because I think B and C are
Fine.
both average.
Fine.
Yeah.
No discussion on horse. There are better horses and there are worse horses.
I mean, okay, the horse also has some other weird supports that helps it out, whereas most other animal companions don't enjoy support of any sort.
I mean, let's
like-
be fair.
Horses have
That's
special
because-
support.
Yeah, well, that's because the game assumes that when you're gonna be taking a mount, you're gonna be riding a horse.
Yeah, which is a mistake.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
people's first cavalier might be like, "Oh, right, I made a cavalier. I'm a knight on a horse." But then you get like 15 later, and I'm like, I'm Tommy Baggins, and I'm riding my giant fly.
Wait until we wait until we actually get into the genie touched horses.
Oh, yeah.
What?
That'll be another video.
Horse is gonna get its own video.
Horse and its templates. God, it's gonna be Spike Gauntlets all over again.
Yeah. Get ready.
Kangaroo.
So kangaroo
For you-
has... Go on.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna take this, you need to your character has to have an Australian accent.
Australian accent is required. This is now a canon event.
Not that anybody here can do an Australian accent.
Crikey.
Maybe
Oh,
a
shit,
Texan
my-
pretending to be British.
You know, that's fair.
Shout out to Zoran the Bear.
I'm calling bullshit on how low the damages are on those kicks.
Oh, don't you mean kick? There's not 2 kicks, there's only 1 kick.
So double
And that's kind of why I'm calling bullshit on it. It's like they balance on their tails and give you a fucking like dual foot kick.
that should be a 2d4.
Also, where's the fucking claws? Those things will rip your fucking face off.
Yeah, they'll punch you.
Like,
Yep.
Okay, so the kangaroo probably has the second best shape behind the ape's shape, but I don't think it uses it well.
No.
You're looking at a D4 kick. It's at least the only attack that it gets, so it gets the benefit of all of its strength, only to come out to having around basically all average stats.
Look, if you just Google, I was gonna Google Pathfinder kangaroo. If you just Google kangaroo and you, yeah, the fourth one is like, have you seen the size of his fucking arms? The fucking bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it also gets
you
up to
look
a
at the
D6 from
stats.
D4.
Sometimes you look at the stats in one of these books and you're just like bullshit.
It is.
I'm
I
looking
also-
at.
I also love that its advancement brings it from medium to medium.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It reads medium and says medium again. At
think
least it
that's
gets up
where
to
it
bulks
16
up.
strength.
That's
Go
where it
to the
bulks up.
gym.
I mean, okay, it gets up to 16 strength, 16 dex, and 15 con. Technically
Jesus.
speaking, it is slightly above average, but by 4th level, that slightly above average doesn't mean a whole lot because that's only a +1 to the stats.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's-
the fact that it made us so angry on how fucking inaccurate its stat block is to the animal is going in D tier. It's we actually need something below F, and it's just made us angry.
angry deer.
Alright, okay. I will say there is one funny thing about it. A cavalier can ride it. In order to ride it, you have to be a small creature.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But put the
don't
halfling in
give
the
a shit.
pouch.
Lol.
Okay, I can't. No. It's going in F. It made me mad. None of the other ones made me mad. They just made me disappointed. This made me angry.
I don't think
This
this
is-
one
goes in F.
I will put it in low D down here. I don't think
Fine.
it's good. I don't think making us mad is big enough to put it down in F. I think it needs to be actually
I fucking disagree.
bad broken.
This
Like,
is our tier list. We
Okay.
we
Okay,
could
look.
say
I
No,
think I'm being
hold on.
overruled here. It sounds like I'm
Let's
getting
say
ganged
I'm-
up on. I guess it'll go into F.
Let's say a player makes a ranger or a cavalier, and they're looking through the animal companions. That's garbage. That's a bit shit. That's not doing what I want to. Then you see a kangaroo and you go, "Ooh, this could be funny." And then you read its stat block, and they get angry, and they go, "Well, I'm mad, but it's got okay-ish stats, but I'm mad at it. You're not going to pick it. It's F tier. It made you mad."
I don't think that's a good justification still, but okay, buddy.
That's human psychology. If it makes you mad, you're not going to pick it.
We're putting the kangaroo in the box for not being good, for not being accurate to kangaroo.
Yeah. It's going in the box with the Ranger, which is why you're not playing a Ranger. You're probably just playing a Cavalier off this list. No one plays
Or
Rangers.
Or a hunter.
Hunters have got Druid list. They don't give a fuck
Oh.
about any of these plebs.
True.
Ooh.
The marsupial devil. Kind of slow.
I assume this
at
is a
dwarf
Tasmanian.
speed. Yes.
I assume this is
It's a Tasmanian devil. It's a Tasmanian devil.
Are you
Bite.
fucking kidding me?
D6. Stays a D6, so it doesn't get big like a badger. Its strength is above average to begin with. It's like 15 strength, goes up to like 19. So it stays above average. Dex is below average, doesn't move. Con is pretty average, stays average. All it's got going for it is it's got a bite and good strength. And I don't know. I don't think that cuts it. Maybe C tier.
It doesn't even size up.
Tasmanian devils aren't very big. But where's their rage? Where's their ferocity? They're renowned for being psychopaths like the honey badger.
Yeah, it doesn't actually get ferocity, and it doesn't actually get rage. Its ferocity is its flavor text.
Yeah.
You know what I think? I think Paizo has got something against marsupials.
Probably.
D tier.
Yeah, D. It's got not enough going for it. Like, that strength is nice, but on a small creature and everything.
It's got surprising strength for a small creature.
Yeah, like that's about it. It would be like when you find out the fucking gnome is the barbarian of the party.
This is like the stat block of a fucking wombat.
Like, I was gonna place it into C myself, but I'm not gonna argue with it being D tier. The pony. So the pony was the first one that I wanted to put in F tier.
Unfortunately, kangaroo wins.
So the pony is a worse horse in every way, but while the horse actually has some redeeming qualities, the pony I don't think has any. It has 2 hooves. Because it has 2 of them, they're not primary attacks. The pony would be unironically stronger if you cut off one of its front legs. When you maim the animal companion, and now it's suddenly stronger, is not where you want to be. It's got bad stats. Well, it's got average strength. That's it, pretty much.
Even when it gets its advancement, it goes to okay. It doesn't even go to good.
Like, it's
congratulations, you have combat trained your pony. Your combat trained pony won't flee from combat, which is actively a detriment because it'll just die.
The pony makes me mad.
Like, surely they should have done, like, okay, so you have a pony, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea, ponies like Shetland ponies, these stocky, small, wide little fuckers, they should have the thing the elk does except for mountainous terrain, because that's what they're designed for. They're designed for exceptional stamina, climbing mountains, not falling over. They're being above averagely strong for their size. Like, ponies actually, biologically, and what we've done with them, have a lot going for them. This one ignores all of that. I'm fucking mad about it.
Like the kangaroo.
Kinda! But worse.
Oh, it's also slower than a horse.
Well, that makes sense, but that's not getting it bumped up to high F.
No.
Honestly, I might have been able to forgive the F tier and put it in low D if it was faster than a horse. Because at least then it would have
a niche. Like,
why would a pony be faster than a horse?
Why would a kangaroo suck at everything kangaroos do?
That's why he's so fucking angry to you.
I like how F tier is no longer it's bad. It's just made us actively angry at it. You know what? Fair enough. I'm no longer going to complain about the kangaroo being F tier and not D tier.
And now we have the dick joke. The riding python.
Okay, so this is here on the technicality that a kobold cavalier can take it as an option. It doesn't make it
flat out
good.
says,
It doesn't add anything to the list.
it says consult your DM before choosing this animal. That means technically anybody could. It was just intended for kobolds.
Yeah. I don't think anybody should choose this animal.
Hey
Alright,
girl, want to ride my python?
And for
All
that
right.
Hello,
joke
HR?
alone, it deserves a spot. I would pick it.
It's a dick joke. S tier.
No. No, you're gonna justify it better than that. I would have taken the fact that it has blind sight up to 60 feet as a quality that might land it higher than somewhere else, but
Can't be tripped.
it's a fucking snake. Of course it can't be tripped.
By
It's
all
okay.
technicalities, it can free action, fall prone, and then get back up without spending an action.
That's
I
just called
suppose so.
rolling over.
Yeah, that's just how snakes
Just
work.
flip. Just.
Okay. 30 feet. So it's got the same speed as the kobold that should be riding it. I'm not gonna dock it for that. D6 bite. It's medium. Okay. It doesn't get better. It's kind of sad. Sad strength that barely gets better with the +2 enhancement. Very average to slightly below average dexterity. Very average constitution. So it's not especially tanky. It's not especially strong. The only thing that it has really going for it is that it has blind sight out to 60 feet. For some reason.
Let's be fair. It's also stupider than the other animals on this list for the most part.
It is the stupidest animal we've come across so far, but that's the average.
Yeah, but so are
snakes.
kobolds.
No
so
comment.
Kobolds, but
No
apparently
no
you're playing
argument.
one. So okay, I think this is actually stinky F tier for a player. For an NPC, it might be an A tier because let's say you go into some kobold tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking pitch black. You don't have too much blind sight. You're low level. And you're suddenly wondering why the fuck these kobolds are always one step ahead of you. Well, they've got these fucking things hidden in crevices. They know you're there, and they just leave with their fucking stealth check. And they go warn their masters with the trick they have. Like, as an NPC tool for an early warning system, if the players don't spot it, as a tool for the DM, these are excellent.
Yeah.
On a player, they're stinky.
Yeah, like, I was wondering if there's going to be a case for the blind sight pulling it up out of F tier or, like, D or C.
I think.
No, because what's it going to do about it?
Alert the master.
I think the low D is worth it simply because even if something happens to blind everybody, at the very least, the animal companion can try. And with a D6 bite, that still puts it a hell of a lot.
Might hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Might.
It's going to hurt a hell of a lot more than the blind people.
When are you getting mass blinded? When a D6 on your shitty snake is going to matter.
Mwahaha, when the dragon casts darkness and all of us lose sight except for the one tiefling of the party.
What's the snake gonna do? Go fucking fight the dragon!
Valiantly.
Hey.
Or carry the cavalier into fighting the dragon. At least the snake can locate the dragon.
Or get the cavalier out of the dark area.
Yeah, but any animal companion riding could do that. It can generally just go in a direction until it exits thing, unless it slams into a wall.
Or slithers directly into one of the acid puddles.
Yeah.
True.
which this could avoid.
I would imagine with one intelligence, it has at least enough intelligence to avoid acid.
Avoid hazards.
Unless
I mean, if they weren't smart enough to avoid hazards, I think they'd have gone extinct.
Probably. All right, so
I'll agree
D-.
though. It's pretty fucking terrible.
It's a tragic stat
But
line.
blind sight should count for something because that is just a powerful ability.
Yeah, but it needs to be able to be leveraged.
So
Whatever, let's move on.
the ram. Rammy boys started small to get up to medium. They can be ridden by cavaliers apparently. They're a ranger companion as well. Yeah, you got that +1 natural armor, so a little bit below average, but it's not 0. They have 1 attack at a gore. It's D3. It comes to D4. So not very high dice, and its strength doesn't really make up for it either. It starts off being a dex base, then they kind of middle out to where strength is slightly better. Constitution is below average, stays pretty below average. It gets powerful charge, so its charge attack gets an additional D8 on top of the D4. So in the case of the Cavalier, the 1 charge that it can get off might hurt. It also gets improved Bull Rush just as a free feat when it hits 4th level.
See? It's not overly great. Like, the powerful charge is nice and would be better on a creature that could actually bonk harder, but...
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just sat here being... Well, it's not made me angry. I'm not mad at it, like these other things, so I guess
It's
C.
meh. Yeah, it's meh.
I could see C. Like it gets a free feat, and it's hard to argue with a free feat. Or a free bonus feat
guess.
that you might actually use, potentially.
I guess.
I mean,
And
I
its
think
charge
it's
can hurt,
I think its
potentially.
best use could be just going around and pushing things.
Possibly. I mean, actually, yeah. Shoving things around. A small cavalier might not mind it, especially if the
Dire
bull rush was a follow-up on the attack to get it out of range.
I want to know where this trend of rolling small fucking cavaliers came from.
I
Unless
don't
you're using a
know.
bow. I guess you could bow. Maybe. Yes.
There's quite a few options. Alright, so Dire Rat. Okay. Kinda fast. Not faster than a horse, but that's not meant to be ridden, so that doesn't matter. Good climb speed. Good swim speed. Bite is unimpressive. Stats are kind of unimpressive, skewing towards dexterity. They stay generally unimpressive. Unfortunately, but it gets a disease.
Yeah,
It's
but the
about what
disease
you'd expect
is...
from a
yeah.
rat.
The disease is also a trigger once
per day.
triggers... Yeah.
It has an onset
so
time of 1d3 days. In order to get it off, you basically have to be worshipping Apollyon or Urgathoa.
yeah,
And then you
need to
can
be
try and
doing
force it
some
every
shenanigans.
single turn. Like there is a
But-
case where you can make that disease useful.
Yeah,
But most
it'd be
characters aren't
more
taking
useful if you... It'd be more useful if your thing doing the Apollyon shenanigans just had the rat bite them and contracted the disease themselves.
Yeah.
That'd be much better.
It's definitely another one of them DM tools. You either have this thing bite the person or target an NPC that the group really likes.
This is literally a creature that you fight at level 1 or 2, and the rat's in the basement. They're the rats
Yep.
in the basement creature.
It's like
It's just a monster.
there is a case where it could do the spring attack thing, but it doesn't hit hard enough really to justify doing that. So like
Rat
Oh
comes
boy.
in, spring attacks, you get irritated.
I think we have a stinky F tier.
I think it's D tier. I don't think it's quite stinky F tier.
Why do you hate? Why do you not want to put stuff in F tier? Because no one would ever take this. It fulfills no role of a cavalier companion or a ranger companion. It does nothing.
It has.
If you wanted scouting ability, you'd have a bird.
Yeah. There is a niche where it could be useful.
I mean,
The
this isn't
speeds that it
making
has
me
are
as
reasonable.
irrationally angry as like the kangaroo or the pony, so I'm thinking low D.
Like
It's just bad, but it's not.
Okay.
it's bad,
well,
but it's not gonna.
It's what you'd
break
expect
things.
from a rat.
Yeah, but you don't expect much. You know what? Fine. The tyranny of democracy wins.
Hey, that's why our kangaroo is an F, because we
True.
You guys bullied me
Swings
into
and
it.
roundabouts.
So, Cave Salamander, I think, is also tragically bad. It has also got the same logistics and rules as the Python. Not the Python. The
Wow.
riding snake.
It's like, okay, why does this exist if the why not just go for the gecko?
Yeah. Like, it's kind of
Okay,
like this one doesn't
this
have
one,
anything that's be special.
yeah, I can't even give it the same justification that I'd given the riding python. Like, this one kind of seems F because it has all the same downsides as the riding python, except that this doesn't even get the blind sight.
Stats bad, has literally no tricks that you can rely on. It gets combat training for free, but combat training is something that cavaliers innately give to their companions. So getting it at 4th
It's
level
got
isn't really special when you should have it at 1st level.
it's got dark vision, which is worse than blind sight.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, almost everything has dark vision. Like, a cobalt has dark vision,
Yeah.
I think.
This one I don't feel bad putting in F tier because it does not fulfill any special roles. It doesn't have any special thing.
Yeah, it earned it alongside the pony.
Bad. This giraffe is fucking living like a king at the top of this fucking pile.
I'm not surprised. Constrictor
I
snake.
am. Okay.
So the constrictor.
Oh, the stat stick. Here we go.
Okay, it has 1 intelligence, which is kind of a drawback. It means you probably aren't investing in intelligence and you're just going to give it a headband. Fortunately, the snake does get a headband slot. It does have the
Just
downside
so
of being a
weird.
snake. As we've discussed, slottage on snake, terrible. Its base move speed is a little slower. It has the same general speed forms as the rat, which I think 20 climb and 20 swim, it's at least generally versatile and mobile, which I think that's nice. It does get slightly above average natural armor. That's hardly consideration. Its bite doesn't hurt, but it does start out with grab. So it starts off being able to just grab something. It becomes a stat stick at 4th level. It's a 4th level advancement, by the way. +8 strength at 4th level, going up to 23, which is the highest strength we'll see on this list.
Yep.
It also gets constrict. The bite scale is constrict. If the bite got better, constrict would get better. The bite's probably not getting better realistically because starting at a base of, getting up to a base of D4, it's not worth investing in to make a D6. But your flat damage will be reasonable, and it's actually reasonably tanky.
I mean, there's also the whole AMF armor spikes. Like, yeah, its base damage sucks ass, but it's got massive strength. It's a great grappler. And you can add a bunch of flat damage and effects onto its, well, triggered abilities. You bite, you constrict, you armor spikes, you trigger whatever. Like, it's no Titan boa, but I think this is an S tier. By metric of S tier, this does one thing really well. And it will crush something and lock it down.
And even if it's not doing the damage, like, let's say damage reduction or something pushes it too low, the constrict still has the thing pinned.
Yeah, it's still actually just stuck.
It's still hard CC.
I was going to say probably A tier, but that's fair. It does do what it wants to do.
Look, if two great swords on a giraffe is worth S tier in this context, then grab constrict pin is absolutely also S tier in this
Yeah,
context.
If body replicating greatswords works, then body replicating rope works.
Fair enough.
A crushing rope.
Spitting
Yes.
Cobra. Okay, so Spitting Cobra. A decent natural. It's kind of slow. It's got a climb speed. Bite is weak. Bite isn't innately poisonous. The lowest strength that we'll see on this list.
Jesus.
Average dex, a low constitution. Its poison does not do stat damage. Instead, it can only spit its poison at something, and That poison starts out as a 20% concealment effect.
And the DC is pretty heckin' low because it's con based, and this snake's con isn't very good.
Yeah, like the con will.
And it can be
Wow.
and it
When you
can be
spit
8
worse
rounds.
than a. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
worse than a camel.
I was about to say when it spits worse than camel.
It does evolve into being a blindness effect, and
But it's
inflicting
still
blindness
shit.
is nice. But yeah, its con's still low. You're only really enhancing it with your belt, and
And
any
it's got
pluses you
dragon
put in.
cooldown.
It does.
No, it's worse. 2d4 rounds.
It's
It's got
worse.
2 dragon cooldown.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've played enough Pathfinder to know that if a DC is unsalvageably low, that ability may as well not fucking be there because it's not sticking.
Yeah,
Especially on a cooldown. The fight is over by the time that's on cooldown, and the first time you use it, it didn't do anything.
yeah,
This is
like
stinky.
this would be a nice thing to use as a surprise round. Just fire it off, hope it sticks.
I think the
You
worst
didn't
part
really
about
have
this
much else to do
creature
anyway.
is that its enhancement comes in at 7th level.
Wow.
Oh wow, it's so stinky.
Like,
Yeah, that you telling me that 7 just pissed me off. That should have been a 4.
like it seems like it was
Oh.
such a low impact increase that it naturally should have been a 4. When you realize it's a 7, it's just painful.
Wow. Into the angry box.
Yeah, fuck that snake.
Like, yeah, Spitting Cobra. I feel like the Spitting Cobra lives in a case where Paizo did not want it to be good.
True.
It lives in a situation where it just was not allowed to be good.
It's still not getting a pity bump to D though.
No.
And the worst. Yeah.
Like, okay, I can see use cases for
We're
it,
all
but
just
not
sad
good
now.
enough to like warrant a damn thing. Like even the rat like has its use case where you can combo off the rat with its one narrow thing. This maybe you'll stick the blindness if you're fucking lucky as hell and you hit a wizard. Probably not. Alright, so the Viper. Starts small, becomes medium. Has the 20-foot speed, the climb speed, the swim speed, so versatile movement.
Snake things.
+2 natural armor, so average armor. And its bite actually inflicts its poison. Now, it's not an impressive bite, starting at a D3 and becoming a D4. It also has the problem of having really low constitution, but it can at least it can actually get a bite in, get a bite in, get a bite in to stack it.
Yeah. And fact is, they don't have to waste their turn hoping that their pitiful save will go through. They're still inflicting something.
If the thing lands its bite, it's at least getting its bite. It doesn't
Yeah.
have particularly inspiring stats, like its constitution is still low, so it has that problem. Its dexterity, it starts out above average, but shrinks to average, so actually growing, I think, is a detriment to it. Its strength goes from 8 to 4. Its strength goes from 8 to 12, which barely matters, because it's still dexterity based.
Yeah.
You can milk it and give the poison to an alchemist or something to make into something.
I mean, you can
better.
milk a horse. What's that got to do with anything?
Fuck off.
A horse doesn't have poisonous milk. Oh yeah, and the effect being 1 con damage and never getting better is a little bit lame. Like,
Yeah. D tier.
Yeah, I can accept that. That's fine. Like, I like that it's mobile. And I like that it has some functionality, but it's about as functional as the rat, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with D tier.
Honestly, like you said, it becoming bigger actually just hurt it.
Yeah. Becoming bigger was actually detrimental, which is weird.
Yep.
The Stag. So the Stag has D4 gore. It goes up to a D6. Okay, so the stat line for this is weird because it's a very dexterous animal. It's not a very strong animal, being a stag. It is kind of got reasonable constitution at least.
It's worse horse.
It kind of is. It starts small, gets to medium, which is fucking bizarre. C
I
tier, D
I
tier?
I think D. It's like antelope. It's like antelope level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually agree. The
Those majestic horns.
Thylacine.
Thylacine.
Alright, so the Thylacine actually has a
Another
cool trick. It has powerful
another
jaws.
fucking marsupial.
Okay, but
That
this one
might
has
be
powerful
cool.
jaws and crits on a 19 or 20. And
Okay.
because this isn't improved critical, you could get that down to a 17-20.
Okay.
So I think critting on a 17 to 20 is worth consideration. It's at least worth something. Granted, its bite is capping off at a d6. It's a 4th level advancement. Its strength is getting to 16, so not much higher than average, but I think we can be a little bit more generous considering it also has a lot of constitution. Like, it caps out at 20 con. So,
I think C, maybe low B. No, with its crit shenanigans though.
like, it has crit shenanigans, which is the biggest thing, and it actually can stick around for a bit because it has constitution behind
20
it.
con, 20 con and 16 strength and some crit bullshit. Oh, there we go. B.
Yeah, B.
It's
B.
still very. It's no. There's not really anything special it does, but it's probably going to periodically just hit really hard. Yeah, and it's better
like-
than what else we've seen so far.
Okay, so this one I think is a fucking meme.
S tier.
So Tortoise can be ridden by Cavalier. It does not have a saddle slot, but it can be
Oh, that
ridden
is
by
so-
Cavalier. Its move speed is a majestic 10.
It's okay. You just keep putting the sprinter archetype on it, like my buddy did, and just keep increasing its move speed so it's got like a fucking 1 kilometer sprint in 6 seconds. Breaks the sound barrier, and that's it for the day.
Its bite is not heavy damage. It caps out a d6, so it doesn't hit that breakpoint of improved natural attack, making it good. It has the highest natural attack value that we have seen today at +6, +8 later on when it hits 7th level. So a
Natural
+14
armor, yeah.
natural attack, which is ginormous. Dex drops
Natural
from 8
armor.
down to 6. It does get bonus feat Great Fortitude.
Yeah.
And it might unironically be a little bit better into than like we might give it credit for its speed because it's fast enough that it can charge. Once it's stuck in, most things, unless they're ranged or casters, will probably be stuck in with it. Where its natural attack, its natural bulk might actually help it stick around and do something because like it gets to 18 strength, it gets to 18 con.
Unironically, C tier.
Yeah, the like turtle not breaking the bank, but it's better than that pile of trash in D and F.
Like
When the paladin picks up the turtle and uses it as a shield.
it's a weird case where it might unironically not be a bad consideration.
I mean, if you could patch its speed, it's suddenly just not bad at all.
Yeah.
You do need to
Slap that
patch its
thing with
speed,
like a
though.
belt of speed
Like
somehow.
the damage dice is not very high, but it might not have to be because it might have enough strength to carry it. It's thick enough HP wise. It's got a really high AC potential.
Stick it in a door and fire over it.
All right, so trumpet or swan? It's another fucking
Honk.
bird.
Honk.
It's another bird. It's got slightly better constitution than the average birds. It's got less dex than a straight up bird. It flies 80 feet. It's D tier.
Where's its ferocity? Where's its barbarian rage?
It doesn't have that. They didn't give it.
D for
they didn't
bird.
give it. D for bird.
D for bird.
They could have absolutely have done something just meme-worthy with this, just so people might fucking pick it as just a lol factor. But they couldn't even do that. They just gave just D for bird.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
A
like,
for X-Beak.
it's why I didn't really want to talk about too much in the previous video. It's like I don't want to get anyone excited for this. It's a fucking bird.
Now we are at the furry bait, the
We're at the
giant
giant
weasel,
weasel with infinite
where
capacity.
where that person who is going to play it is going to keep saying the words war dance and Duke Duke, and I will fucking kill them.
Okay, but I so
Why does it have blood drain?
I was gonna get
That's
into
what I
that.
was just staring at.
The thing has grab and blood drain, therefore, unironically,
It's a-
probably not bad as a
It's
choice.
a vampire.
I don't know why the giant weasel is a vampire, but the giant weasel is a vampire. Its bite may not hurt. It may start at low strength. It might be more dex based until like I don't know. It'll probably always stay dex based. You could get it strength based if you wanted to.
Just get the constrictor
But
snake to hold it while the weasel bites it.
it has grab and blood drain. It will eventually kill anything that cares about Constitution if it can sit there and drain it long enough. Now, like,
What the
its
fuck?
Constitution's average, its strength becomes basically average, its dex stays slightly above average. It's not confused about whether it wants to be strength or dex based. It's dex based, and it'll drain you.
It's a blood draining rogue. Are we sure it's not a vampire?
I'm not sure it's not a vampire.
I've-
Also, it has a 10-foot
I
climb speed.
think I would put this in B tier just because. What the fuck? But okay. But what the fuck? But okay.
I guess it
tier.
depends on how much you value that grab and blood drain combination. Like it might actually be almost as good
Quite
as the frickin'
fucking
snake.
high.
Yeah, like, because if
Like-
you can just knock off any even number and knock it to an odd, that is just automatically the enemy losing that much health.
There's no
Like-
save. It just does it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
as
this
long
is
as
just
you-
a thing that happens at the end of its turn. If it's grappling, blood drain triggers.
Okay, so let's say that you've got somebody who has some kind of CC. Your party is low damage, but you've got crowd control to stick. You just send the fucking weasel in to start eating their constitution. There's fuck all they can do about it. Even once the
Yeah.
CC drops off or they eventually save through, they're going to come out of that with levels if it dies less HP.
Yeah.
It's like direct to intrinsic health, not just
And
damage. It's
This is
yeah.
I can't.
this is incidental to any
The
like damage that the weasel's actually doing with its bite. Like every turn, just kind of
This is-
latching onto the thing. Just being
So
latched on.
I think with how this thing is set up, it's not exactly a combat monster, but this thing is support in the most fucked up way possible. It's like, aha, I have CC'd them, and its strength doesn't matter. It is now going to bite them and start blood draining because they can't actually stop it.
So is it living in B tier? Or do you think it's good enough to
It's
go to
B.
A tier? B
And
tier?
it's low. Let's do low A because that's a rare ability.
It's not something
I'm-
that we'll
it's-
see very often.
I
Yeah.
am now just picturing a druid catching something in like entangle and then just summoning a swarm of fucking weasels to drain them to death.
The
just
fact that it
There's this
has that at
rolling
all
ball of tube socks just wriggle off the target and there's just a desiccated husk underneath. And it's like, okay, that's horrifying. What the fuck?
That is horrifying.
Why do weasels have blood drain?
I don't know.
I need to go to Google. I need to go to... Okay. Pathfinder. Why do giant weasels have blood drain? There's no one really saying what the fuck. These are asking if it's PFS legal. Oh wait, what the fuck is this? HL.
It's a myth.
Oh, it's Hero Lab.
Because
Whatever.
I just looked it up online, like, do weasels drink blood? And it's like the notion that weasels suck the blood of its prey is a myth. It's a myth that
I've-
goes around, so it's popularly.
I've never heard of that.
However, before they begin to feed on flesh and internal organs, weasels will often lick the blood off the wounds. So I can see why people would think that.
Most
Jesus
predators will do
Christ.
that.
Alright. So the wolf. Wolfie boys start out at medium, get up to large. 50 speed,
Wait, hold
so
on.
they're...
Hold
I'm
on.
sorry? Okay.
Wolf has a +8 to strength at the level advancement? I
Yes.
did not know
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
Wolves are actually kind of good.
Okay.
I'm giving it to things like Game of Thrones and like the dire wolves and everything, and always making it look so big and impressive, and so
Hold
it's like,
on. Pause. Hold on.
yes, wolf
Have
has
you
4 paws.
have you seen a wolf compared to the size of an actual dog
They're fucking
or a
massive.
person?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're big.
Yeah. Like, okay, you've got the direwolves in Game of Thrones. That's just your average timber wolf. That's the thing, a big-sized timber wolf. That's why wolves are so built into the human fucking psyche as something to terrify, because they were like small fucking horses at one point.
But yeah. They're clocking in at a speed of 50, plus 2 natural armor, plus 2
Okay.
more natural armor when they advance, so they've got, like, pretty good natural armor, actually. Their
Yeah.
bite starts at a d6, but goes up to a d8, so by metric, it'll reach a 2d6 if you feed it. They have innate trip, which kinda probably makes them slightly better than the axe beak. So they're as fast, and a bite is as good. But they also have a
Oh
better starting strength at
oh
13,
shit!
going up to +8. So 21?
I think the wolf is I think the wolf is low S by our own metrics.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Also,
Fucking hell.
goes up to 19 constitution. A wolf actually really good, by the way.
There wasn't a bear in this list.
No.
Lame.
Weirdly enough, I did not see bear in the ranger listing.
You think at least the ranger would have the Holy Trinity? Bear, wolf, boar.
Yeah, I thought they had it too. I didn't see it in the listing.
Okay. I guess. Wow, they just don't want rangers to have bear grabs and bear hugs, and even just another reason that rangers go in the fucking bin.
Hey, at least ranger can have wolf.
Mm.
So, wolf dog.
White
So,
woman has been here. How do you know? Wolf companion.
So, size medium. Slower than a wolf. The natural armor doesn't get better than +2, but that's the average, so you can't dock that. A bite to d6. It doesn't get better, but it does gain bleed. Strength goes up to 17, so it gets above average strength. Dexterity stays average. Constitution goes up to 15, so it kind of stays in the general average ballpark for Constitution for these things.
Right. Because most things can't actually cure their own bleed, I think this might be a low A tier if you are allowed to pull off hit and run shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just
Makes sense.
standing and brawling, a D4 bleed doesn't really fucking mean anything. But if you can let it bleed out, like, say, you inflict a fear effect on them after bleeding them, or you make them panicked or cowering,
Get them
if
free
there's
damage while
something
they
you
retreat.
are yeah, if you're having a hard time beating the shit out of something, this could help you bleed it out. Let's say you get a lucky hit on a blink dog that's being a pain in the ass. We've been there. Something
Yep.
that climbs up trees, or yeah, something mobile. If you can nip it, it's going to then lose because of its own strategy. I think this is a low A tier because there are places where a bleed like this on a decent stat block is really good. There's also places where it's fucking worthless and doesn't do anything.
Eh.
Yeah.
I was
I'm sure there's
thinking.
months.
You said low A?
Yeah.
I was thinking B.
And
High B then,
honestly,
whatever.
its stats aren't terrible. We've seen worse.
Yeah.
So
Like,
That's
yeah.
pretty much.
It's got a
pretty
good
much it.
stat line. Bleed can be a clinch, though it's not. It matters less and less the higher you go because it doesn't scale up. It stays at D4.
Yep. Okay, you know what? You're right. If it was low A, it'd be with the weasel with just straight up blood drain, and that's stupid.
Yeah.
B tier.
All right. So yak.
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 Yakety yak.
Yak.
So Yak lives here. They're large. Despite being large, they're not a Cavalier companion, they're just a Ranger companion.
Okay.
As fast as a person. It actually gets up to the +6 natural armor, so pretty reasonable. Gore's a D8, and it doesn't get better, but it can already be 2D. It can already become a 2D6 off that. Strength starts kind of middling at average, but it does go up to 18, so it does go above average. Constitution starts at 12, which is slightly below average, but goes up to slightly above average. And it gets this cute ability that makes it where its speed is never modified by encumbrance. So you can pallet it down with as much bullshit as you want, and it will never walk slower. It's literally a pack animal.
I mean, it's a pack animal that's going to 2d6 any thieving fucking goblins.
Yeah, true. B tier, C tier, or do you think it's good enough to actually make it higher?
Let's
Okay,
see.
C tier.
It doesn't have any tricks other than carries all your shit, which is like, yeah, sure, but Bag of Holding exists.
Yeah, it is a case where it kind of needs a trick or just be a massive fucking stat stick.
Yeah. And now we're at the end. The Zubra.
The
The
Zubra.
Oreo horse.
So Oreo horse. Oreo horse is honestly I think it's kind of a worse horse.